Shalom, shalom, family. My name is Uzi Alawi. I'm one of the teachers at Congregation D.C.B BINAH. Thanking the Most High King for life, food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the ability to call upon His name in truth and righteousness. Thanking this great King for my life, the life of Yisrael scattered in the four corners of the earth, the life of all of us. Call upon the name of this great King, the creator of heaven and earth. And unto Him and Him alone do we give praise. We almost say hallelujah. Thanking this great King once again for life. Thanking this great King again for being able to brave through the cold conditions and to be able to understand that He is King. And besides Him, there is no Savior. Hallelujah. Thanking the Creator of heaven and earth for my life. Thanking the Creator for everyone that's in the room at this time. Praise the Most High God. And I'm thankful to this great King for knowledge, for my life, and for all the things that we do. Thanking everyone that came out to our November 21st. That was on Wednesday night and made our event a success. Is well appreciated. Everyone that participated, everyone that came out, everyone that was part of it. We didn't expect as much people that came out to come out, but we tried our best. Hopefully next time we'll be more prepared. We weren't prepared for them. We usually well prepared, but we thought it was just going to be a little get together, but it turned out to be more than what we expected. You know, people came from out of town because they're here for the youth Shabbat, which is going to take place in Brooklyn. I don't have the address at this time, but whoever has the address could post it up in the chat. Whoever has the address for the youth Shabbat tomorrow, that our brothers and sisters from BINAH and Yisrael will be putting together. Please put it out and so that everybody could be well informed. The Unity Shabbat. So once again, thanking the Creator of heaven and earth for this Erev Shabbat, for this eve of the Shabbat day, going into the nighttime. And I'm thankful for life, food, clothing, and all things that the Most High God provide for us. I'm thankful to the Creator for knowledge of self, for understanding who He is, for understanding that He is God and God alone, and besides Him there is no other. Besides Him there is no King, there is no Savior. There is no one to be compared to Him, to consort with Him, to make Him equal to. He's God and God alone. As you can see, I'm sporting some new D.C.B shirts. These are the prototypes. They're not completed, but you know, soon we will have them available for everyone. That's for everyone out there. So you can see there's certain things missing. The outline of the Torah with the 10 words. So we still working on it. Hopefully we'll have something for y'all soon, to where y'all could also represent the D.C.B shirt. The Beit D.C.B. I think I said Shema Yisrael. Beit D.C.B. So that's for years of saying that, you know, saying that word. But yes, the Beit D.C.B shirts with the logo on it will be available soon for everyone. So look out for our merch and the stuff that we're going to be putting out. So I'm thankful to this great King, and I'm hopeful that the Creator will continue to be with us and guide us. All right, so Taylor White Community Center, located at 80 Clymer Street in Brooklyn. So I don't know what part of Brooklyn that is exactly. I think it might be like Williamsburg. I could be wrong, but might be over there. We We are thankful to this great King for life, and I'm thankful to the Creator for my life, the life of all of you. Thankful to the Creator for everyone. And it's a blessing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page, BINAH, and follow us and like the page. And don't forget to share to all your social media to make this show available for everyone in your in all your different social media accounts and so forth and so on. So today a report came out from the United States government saying that and that by the year basically 2100, that there's going to be extreme weather conditions, that by that time 10% of the, it's going to affect 10% of the economy of the U.S. and we need to start doing something now, sooner than later, to save what we have left of the environment and so forth and so on. I've always read about the day of the Lord. Give me a second. Just want to go to some different precepts. Where it speaks about the day of the Lord. Now, you can find this day of the Lord in both the Old and New Testament, but we're going to focus on what it means in the Old Testament because that's where the New Testament gets it from, right? So some spots it says it's a day of gloominess. We're going to go to some of it. Let us first go to Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14 and 18. We have to, I basically want to say this, we have to prepare ourselves for what is to come. The Most High God will have a day of reckoning on this earth to cleanse the earth of the impurities, right, of the earth. It says that the prophet Elijah will come back and turn back the hearts of the children back to the parents and the hearts of the parents back to the children, because the earth is getting like this, separated. The values of family, respect of parents, respect of authority and the things that you're supposed to be respectful of are no longer in play, and everybody does what they... So there has to be a day of reckoning that the Most High come and judges the earth, right? And it constantly, we have precept after precept in the Tanakh about the day of the Lord. And I was very interested in that. And I was looking at it and going through the different precepts, and it seems to be a day of destruction. Like, it seems like there's a time that's going to come where there's going to be some annihilation in the earth for the Most High God to once again set everything straight and bring back that time of utopia, that time of happiness, where somebody's going to sit on one of the descendants of King David is going to sit on the throne and judge God's people again. And the third rebuilding of the temple will be there, it will be erected, and we will go back to the worship of the Creator. But before that time, there's going to be a day of the Lord, a reckoning, a day that the Most High God will come and judge the earth, and people will perish because of the things that they have done contrary to the laws of God. So let us go first to Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14 through 18. The great day of Yahweh is near. It says, Quarov Yom Yehovah. right? Quarov. The great day of Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahweh, wherein the mighty man cry bitterly. Right? The mighty man is going to cry bitterly because the mighty man is symbolized as somebody with strength. But on the day of the Most High God, not even the mighty man is going to be able to withstand what the Most High God is going to do on the earth and the drama that he's going to bring on the earth and the punishment that he's going to bring on the earth. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, and a day of clouds and thick darkness. So just think about what happened to the land of Egypt during the time where the Most High God was bringing us out of Egypt. Just think of a time and a period like that that's coming in the future. So when you start hearing about climate change and you start hearing about the destruction with fire, where parts of parts of California and parts of Southern California are burning and they can't contain it, this is all because of the effects of mankind, of what we've done because of our iniquities, and also because of what we've done to the environment, right? So it all coincides with each other because we are destroying the planet, but there's going to come also a time where the Most High God tells us that he will renew the earth, right? So we don't have to worry about that because God will renew the earth. But also as people of wisdom and people of understanding, we have to take our steps, being that God put us on this earth and gave us the earth and the fullness thereof for us to live and survive from. Then we have to take the steps also not to destroy the earth and do our little parts, not to leave our carbon footprint on the earth. I'm very keen on that because I think that is also our responsibilities to preserve, this earth that the Most High God has given us. So, just a little hint to the wise. It says here, a day of the horn and alarm against the fortified cities and against the high towers. So, no defense system that you have, no rocket that you have is going to be able to withstand this day because God is going to come and judge the earth. And I'll bring distress upon men that they shall walk like the blind because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out at dusk and their flesh as dung. Right? Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath, but the whole earth shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he will make an end, yea, a terrible end of all them that dwell in the earth. So, not literally that he's going to destroy us all, right? But he's going to destroy all of those who go against the commandments of God, and not even their money, their wealth is going to be able to deliver them, because you can't bribe God. You can't tell God that, hey, hold on to this and just turn the other way, because God doesn't leave our money, doesn't need our money. And God doesn't need us per se. Let us go to the book of Isaiah 13, verse 9 and 10. You know what? Let me just stick to my regular book that I had here. Isaiah 13. Verses 9 through 11. It reads on this wise: Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh cruel and full of wrath and fierce anger, to make the earth a desolation and to destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So the whole purpose of the day of Yahweh is to destroy the sinners, those that are going or living contrary to the laws of God. That's going to mean our family members. That's going to mean our beloved mother, our beloved father. It's going to mean those, because you see, God, the Most High God don't look at the appearance. It's going to mean our beloved children. It's going to mean all those people that we love, because God has to regenerate. Yehovah has to regenerate the earth back to a point where people are following his laws, statutes, and commandments, and not going carte blanche and doing what they want to do. You know, this time of anarchy and us doing what we want to do is not going to be something that the Most High God is going to approve of. This is not what God approves of. What he likes is, or what he delights in, is for us to do that which is good and right before him, and to walk in his path. That's what he delights for us to do. All right, so we have to be keen, and we have to be ready to keep those laws, statutes, and commandments, and walk in the path, so that when the day of reckoning, the day of the Lord comes, that we won't be found wanting in the scale before God in the scales of heaven, and then he has to judge us harshly because we did not keep his commandments. So these are things that we have to keep in mind. It reads here, "For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." That's why I compared it to the time when the Most High God was judging Egypt, right? When he brought all this destruction and all these plagues to Egypt. That's how the day of the Lord shall be, or will be, where he's going to begin to judge the earth. And those who are sinners are not going to be able to withstand his wrath and his punishment that he's going to bring on the earth, right? And he's doing this so that he could renew the earth and then bring forth the prophecy of that utopian era, of that era of happiness, when the third temple will be rebuilt, when the third rebuild of the temple, and somebody's going to sit. The Mashiach is going to sit, or the anointed one, right? The anointed one is going to sit on the throne, one of the seed of David, sit on the throne and be king over all Israel, right? This is not a mystery spook. This is not somebody who died and coming back to sit on the throne. We're talking about, we're going to know who the descendants of David are going to be, and we're going to know who will be the one that will sit on that throne. Verse 11, "And I'll visit upon the world their evil, and upon the wicked their iniquity. And I'll cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the tyrants." So I will make man more rare than fine gold, even man than the pure gold of Ophir, because God is going to judge us for what we did. So therefore I will make the heavens to tremble, and the earth shall be shaken out of her place, for the wrath of Jehovah of hosts, and for the day of his fierce anger. So this is a day of fierce anger to the Most High God. He's going to judge the earth for what the earth has done against him, but not following the law, statutes, and precepts that the Most High God has left here on earth for us to do. So it's important for us to follow in the precepts, follow the commandments of the Creator. So I guess y'all get the gist about the day of the Lord and the reckoning of the day of the Lord and what he will do. Let me go to one more verse. Let us go to the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. It reads, Joel, blow ye the horn in Zion, right? This is what we sing every Shabbat morning. Blow ye a trumpet in Zion, right? Tik-u, here it says shofar, right? Bet Zion, We said trumpet. Tikwe u kasotra bezion, right? And sound an alarm in my holy mountain. It says where hari u behar kwadosh, right? Where hari u behar kwadosh, right? And sound an alarm in the holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. Yir gezu kol Yisra kol yoshvei haaretz, right? Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is at hand. Ki ba yom Yahweh ki kwarov. Right? So, blow ye the horn in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is at hand. So the day of Yahweh will be started out with a blow of the horn, right? Where the people will be notified and know, like an alarm will be sounded to know that the Most High God is here. And we have to be aware of that time and that season. We have to prepare ourselves. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. As blackness spread upon the mountains, a great people and a mighty. There have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more of them, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame blazeth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing escapeth them. So this makes me think about what's happening out in California, right? In California, there's the state is burning up. Acres and acres, people are dying. There's so many people missing that are unaccounted, and people just don't know. Yeah, it's not going to be a large number of men around, because God is going to regenerate the earth. First he's going to purge it, then he's going to regenerate it with mankind. And it's not only going to be Israel, right? It's going to be all those people who are faithful servants before the Creator that are going to be here and that are going to regenerate the earth, just like in the time of Noah, right? It was only Noah and his family. So we begin to see all the things that the Most High, the Creator of heaven and earth, is going to do on his day, on the day that he calls the day of the Lord, that we understand to be the day of the Lord. We have to prepare ourselves, brothers and sisters. But even after that commotion and that day, there's going to be a remnant of us that's left over, that's going to keep the laws, and that's going to be able to be priests to the nations, and that's going to be able to teach the nations about this great God. So we have to put ourselves in that position to be the teachers of the world, to bring forth the message to the people of the world, so that the people will understand that there is only one King, there is only one God. So those are the things that we need to keep in mind. Those are the things that we need to understand. All right. Give me 1 second here. Let me mute this real quick. Give me 1 second, family. 1 second. 1 second. I don't have anything here to communicate with my Bane. He's upstairs. Let me see. Hopefully he's looking at the stream. Let me type something to him. All right, so Mauzier, bring down the D.C.B phone. I don't have the D.C.B phone on me. Okay, let's go back to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37. Make the connection. Ezekiel 37 is speaking about a time to come and the conditions of the nation of Israel, right? And also when the Most High God will restore a descendant of David to sit on the throne, but it will show the conditions of the children of Israel, of us today, and how we look and how we stand out before the earth, before the peoples, and how we supposed to come back to the creator of heaven and earth with understanding of self. It says here, the hand of Yahweh was upon me, and Yahweh carried me out in the spirit, set me down in the midst of the valley, and it was full of bones. So this is the prophet Ezekiel, right? Or Yecheskel, having a vision, having a moment, and the Most High God is causing them to have an out-of-body experience, right? So it said, Yahweh carried him out in the spirit, set him down in the midst of the valley, and it was full of bones. And he caused me to pass by them and round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. So he saw all these bones, and they had no life in it. They were dead. They were very dry, no sinews on them. They were dried up. I mean, they've been there for a while, in this condition for a while. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh God, thou knowest. Then he said unto me, prophesy over these bones and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and you shall live. So this is metaphoric. This is symbolic. This is not actual people coming back from the grave like from the dead, like Night of the Living Dead. This is not what's happening. Those are called zombies. You know what I mean? And those don't exist per se. Somebody coming from the grave, per se, that was dead. Not someone that was given something to slow down their heartbeats and like some societies do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody that was dead and that comes up from the grave. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the condition of a people. Dry bones symbolize people and their state of mind, meaning they have no life in them. Even although you're alive and you're breathing, your mentality and your state of mind is lifeless, and it's worth nothing. Dry bones are worth nothing because they're lifeless. So this is what these dry bones are symbolizing, and this is what it means, right? Just bear with me. It says here, verse 5, thus saith Yahweh unto these bones. So the reason why I say Yahweh, right? Because when you read it in the Hebrew, it tells you, wherever you see the Lord in capital bold letters, in Hebrew, which is the original text that the Tanakh or the Old Testament was written in, it's Yahweh, which is the name, right? The tetragrammaton, the name of the Creator, right? Yahweh. So that's why I substituted with the name of the Most High, so that we have no doubt as to who we're speaking about. Thus saith Yahweh God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So the Most High God said that these bones, I will cause them to live. Most High say he will cause these bones to live. Verse 6. And I will lay sinews upon you, and I will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Jehovah. So, what does the putting back sinews and cover you with skin? Our knowledge and our understanding of Torah. Those of us that came from the outside world, we came from a dead state. We came from an understanding of having no understanding of Yah and not even believing in God. We was just going to places of worship by rote and not really understanding who Yah was. But on the comeback, the Most High God will begin to put flesh and sinews and tendons and muscles and blood vessels into us, and that symbolizes our gaining of knowledge, our gaining of wisdom, our gaining of understanding. That's what that symbolizes. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a commotion, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. Now this coming together, bone to his bone, is symbolic of us coming together as a nation, meaning that those of us that are in South America, those of us that are in Central America, those of us that are on the continent of Africa, those of us that are in the Middle East, Israel is beginning to wake up, and through the internet and through us getting to know this knowledge, we beginning to connect to people from all over the world, Israelites all over the world, and we beginning to come back and have knowledge of self. That's what this means. This is this time right now. The bone connecting to the bone, you know. Hip bone connected to the thigh bone connected to the knee bone, to the, you know, all these things are beginning to happen. These are the things where you see the commotion. Now you see the commotion on the earth because we starting to identify ourselves with Israel. We starting to identify ourselves as the children of Israel and doing that which is right. So these are the things that we have to keep in mind, and these are the things that we have to have understanding of. It says, and I beheld, and lo, there were sinews upon them, and flesh came up, and skin covered them above to be theirs. To be there was, but there was no breath in them. There was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the breath, prophesy, son of man, and say unto the breath, thus saith Jehovah God, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Breathe upon the slain in mind, that they may live. Now we beginning to live, and we beginning to get understanding of Torah, and we beginning to get understanding of the Creator. These are the things that will help us as we go along as a people. These are the things that will fortify us and help us to become that great people again, right? Knowledge of self, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the things that will help us to grow. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great host. That's us. That's us. We are an exceeding great host, but we only see the little congregations that we have here and there. But God don't look at us that way. He look at us as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? So we got 100 in this congregation. We got 200 in this one. We got 150 in that one. We got 75 in this one. We got 20 in this one. God look at us as a great host, right? And we come with a lot of different ways, and the ways that we think about certain things, but God is going to bring the true understanding to us and make us understand how to get along one with another. So we have to prepare our spirits. We can't hate each other, and we can't have that understanding of hatred towards each other, because that's not the way that the Most High God is going to bring us back. He's going to bring us back with understanding that brother should love brother, sister should love sister. And those are the ones he's going to pick out of the remnant, not the ones who have this hatred and this perpetual way that they feel, you know, with carrying grudges and doing all that stuff. Now, God is not going to accept that. Most High is not going to accept that. And it reads here, every now and then I go back into the stream to make sure I see what people are saying, so I don't miss anything. It says here, verse 9, then said he unto me, prophesy to the, no, verse 10. So I prophesied and as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great host. Verse 11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dried up and our hope is lost. We are clean cut off. Right? Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith Jehovah God, behold, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves, O my people, and I'll bring you into the land of Israel. Right? So the graves is the conditions that we live in, the slums that we live in, our understanding that we have of life. That's our grave. The perversion and the wayward way of thinking that lead us into a path of destruction. That is the grave. You know, the cycle of despair that seems that we can't get out of. Some families, no matter how hard you try, you stay in that cycle of poverty, going back and forth to jail, right? Young girls getting pregnant, lack of education. Those are the graves. The conditions that we live in are the graves. And I'll put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I'll place you in your own land. Ye shall know that I, Jehovah, have spoken and performed it, saith Jehovah. So the Most High God will bring us back to Israel, the land which he promised our fathers. And the reason why, you know, well, some of my teachers taught, because some of the teachers also believed that there was going to be, I'll leave that for another day, but well, I was mainly taught that it wasn't anybody coming from the grave, is because you can't bring something clean out of something unclean. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that somebody's going to come out of the grave and is going to revive from an unclean carcass. You know, the Most High God don't accept anything unclean. The bone of a man is unclean. You know, of a dead man is unclean, or a carcass of an animal that dies of itself becomes unclean. So, you know, the Most High God don't dwell in the midst of anything that's unclean. So that's why we were taught the way that we were taught about no resurrection and nobody coming from the grave. That's not literal. That is symbolic, meaning that somebody from the seed of David will sit down on the throne. Like here is going to say David will sit down on the throne. But when we look at all the other precepts where it speaks about somebody sitting on the throne of David, not David physically. Remember, this is a vision of the prophet Ezekiel. It's something that he's brought out. So it's not clear what he's seeing. It's a dream. Dreams sometimes are metaphoric. Like you can't, or like metaphors sometimes. I mean, you can't decipher it, or they're like a riddle, you know. But he understands the riddle, and he has an interpretation for it. And thou, son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write it upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and of all the house of Israel and his companion. So you take two sticks, you put them together, you know what I mean? It's like my Bane said when he taught this lesson. It's like you put the two sticks together like this, and you make a fist, and that shows unity. It shows strength, right? And you put the sticks together like this, and join them for thee one to another into one stick, that they may become one in thy hand. So they become one in our hand like this. So we just imagine that, let's imagine that this is the stick, all right? So I'm showing to the people on Facebook. Let me stop sharing. So let's imagine that this is the stick. Like this is one side of the stick, and you hold it in one hand like this. It becomes strengthened now because you're holding them together. So that's symbolism. It's showing you the strength and unity, right? It's showing you the strength and unity and how we need to be as a people. It says here, verse 18, when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not tell us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith Jehovah God, behold, I will take a stick of Joseph, which is the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his companions, and I'll put them unto him together with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. Once again, symbolizing unity and strength. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. So you're going to write on one side for Judah and one side for Israel, which is Ephraim. And you should write it, and it shall be in thy hand before their eyes, so that people will see the unity, that we're no longer separated. So this is that time to come, right? This is after the day of the Lord. Now it comes the day of the Most High God coming and bringing us together as God's people, as one union of a nation coming back together. And say unto them, thus saith Jehovah God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the nations, whither they are gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. So when the Most High God bring us back, don't be surprised how some of us look. We know we cannot, and I've been repeating this, we cannot get caught up on looks, because I believe the children of Israel are going to come back in different shades, different hair textures, different ways. Most High God is going to sort that out for us. Us as the children of Israel that came over on the transatlantic slave trade, we have a claim to it, right? But there are also people that never came on the transatlantic slave trade, that escaped the destruction of Babylon and went into the south, into what we know today as the continent of Africa. The people down there, the Lemba tribe, and all these people that still have an Israelite tradition and have been proven to be the children of Israel. So these are the people that we have to, these are the things that we have to keep in mind, that all of us are not going to come back looking the same. You got a group of people in India that have been there for years that claim to be the children of Israel. I believe they claim to be the tribe of Benjamin. So these are all the things that we have to keep in mind and we have to keep account of. And I'll make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. So we shouldn't be two nations anymore. We're going to be Bnei Yisrael, right? The children of Israel. We're going to be Kol Yisrael, all of Israel, together, right? We're going to be that nation once again, right? We have to remember that. We have to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Creator of heaven and earth. If you knew, and this is your first time listening, the laws of the Most High God are located in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, the Torah. And of those first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, in those first 5 books is where we find God's law. Thus saith the Lord. You do not find that in any other book. You don't find it in the New Testament. You don't find it anywhere else. The Torah is what helps to govern our lives. It's what keeps us in line. It's what keeps us walking straight before the Creator of heaven and earth, so that we don't do that which is wrong before Him. It says here, verse 23, neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. So if you have an idol, if you have a picture of someone that you call a god, you're violating the laws of God. And this is exactly what the Most High God wants us to get rid of. The detestable things. The idol worship has not gotten us as a people anywhere. We have to relieve ourselves of those things that hold us back, those anchors, and dedicate ourselves solely to the worship of the Creator of heaven and earth. His name is Jehovah. Jehovah Zebaoth, the Lord of hosts. But I will save them out of their dwelling places wherein they have sinned. I will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. So there you go. God will be our people. God will be our God, and we shall be his people. It says here, and my servant David shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in mine ordinances and observe my statutes and do them. So this is once again a vision. It doesn't literally mean that David will be king, because I could take you to other precepts where it talks about the seed of Jesse, where it talks about and that man shall be called Yehovah Zikweinu. Yehovah is our righteousness. So it's not literally talking about David, but it's talking about the progenitors of King David, the people that come after David. But it's using David symbolically as the head of that kingdom, right, of that throne. Verse 25, and they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Yaakov my servant, wherein your fathers dwell, and they shall dwell therein, they and their children and their children's children forever. And David my servant shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will establish them and multiply them and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. So the Most High God is going to rebuild that holy temple before us once again. That's why I said the third rebuilding of that temple, the third building of that temple shall be erected again, and the priests shall be back in their order, and the king shall be back in his order. My dwelling place also shall be over them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. His dwelling place is the temple. And the nation shall know that I am Yehovah, that sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forever. Hallelujah. So, there you go. Shalom, do you speak or approve of the Lashawan Kodesh? I thought it was the Lashawan Kadash. Kodesh is more of how we say it, because with the Lashawan Kadash, everything is every vowel sound is the ah sound. No, we do not speak or approve of that form, of that method of speaking Hebrew. Because it's not reasonable. The way that form of speaking Hebrew came to be was, and I did an interview with an elder by the name of Nasi Barak, who went to the Tanakh school in the 60s and worshiped with Abba Bivens. And what he said in the interview was that Abba Bivens, now, I think sometimes it's better to just show it rather than to just say it, right? It's better for something to be coming from a person's voice than me trying to say what the person is saying so that someone can hear it themselves. So I'm going to pull up Nasi Barak. And let's see what Nasi Barak speaks about that.
ancestry DNA results. 74%
Oh, excuse me.
But I found out that I'm from the big toe of that.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm bringing you another interview with one of the ancient Torah and Hebrew teachers, Nasi Barak Ben Levi. He explains his studies under the late Eved Benjamin, aka Abba Bivens, what he learned from him, and also what he brought to the Israeli Tanakh school after he left the Zaki from New York. Shalom, and I hope that you all enjoy.
I used to go and worship with Ben Israel, you know. Sometime ago. Yeah. I used to go there and Shabbat and worship with him. And then I used to come over here to Ball Park where I met a lot of Yemenites. And I used to go and worship with Yemenites, you know, and I met them. And them Yemenites used to sneak. So because, you know, at Shabbat they travel about so far, you know. They don't believe in driving cars or nothing like that, you know. This is nonsense, you know, to me. It's a bunch of nonsense. Because them is machines, man. The book doesn't say nothing about machines. It says the beasts of burden, right?
Right.
Your beasts of burden supposed to rest on the Shabbat. Your manservant, your maidservants, and your beasts of burden. They got the day of rest also, see? Everybody keep the Shabbat holy, right? But these Jewish people, you know. And, you know, I say, oh, this is nonsense. And the Yemenites used to sneak to come to worship with us in Harlem by the Israeli Tanakh school and to learn.
Who's Abba?
That's Pop Bibbins.
Pop Bibbins.
Yeah, we got him out. His name is Eved Benjamin, you know. Eved Benjamin, yeah.
So when you left Benazakin, you went to Hashabah Yisrael, but you were also going to Pop Bibbins.
No, I went to Pop Bibbins first. And then from Pop Bibbins, I ended up with Cohen Levy. When they was on Tompkins Avenue.
Okay.
Before they got the big place on Belmont. So yeah, so I just went into this thing all the way, brother.
Right.
That's what I was telling these younger brothers now. You see, you come here, you keep going, brother. Don't stop. Don't be like Lot's wife. You know, they told Lot's wife, and they told Lot and his 2 daughters, don't look back. But she looked back. And she turned into a pillar of salt. She didn't want to let go of them old ways. Yeah, she didn't want to let go of them old ways. And I mean, I had to wrestle with this thing, you know. And finally I said, well, I'm gone, man. But Moshe is the one that took, that's why I met Abba. And Moshe ben Moshe. He took me to Harlem one Sunday. That's on Sunday when Abba and the brothers used to go on the street, you know, and try to enlighten the brothers and sisters.
And this is after you left Benazakin, right?
Yeah, that's after I left Benazakin, yeah. Right. And see, and Moshe knew Prince Yaakov because they grew up in the same tongue.
So you see, what he's explaining here is, like you got another part of the interview where he speaks about how he met Abba Bivens, right? And or how he came to knowledge of self through Nasi Yaakov, right? But then now he's speaking about when he left Nasi Yaakov and he went to congregate with the brothers from the Tanakh school, right? Abba Bivens and everybody from the Tanakh school. So he's speaking about the brother Moshe ben Moshe taking him up there to go meet Abba Bivens. And Abba Bivens used to be in the street teaching the word of God. And he was out there enlightening God's people on 125th Street, which a lot of the teachers used to do back then. The Muslims used to do it. A lot of people used to hit the streets right back then. Today, to hit the streets it's okay, but if you have a good social media outreach, you can reach a lot more people on social media than you do going out into the street. But that was for that time. That was the social media of that time. Today, you know, it's a little bit different. So let us continue listening to Nasi Barak at this time.
In Ohio, you know, and he stopped coming. It's when I started going, and them brothers found out about me, which I was just a newcomer. But they saw how fast I was moving, you know. people started coming. They started coming. They started coming. All the brothers that left, they started coming. And when I left, and I went to Shabbat Yisrael. No, first I went to Pop Bibbins. Up in Ireland, Pop Bibbins and them were talking on the corner, you know.
How long did you stay up there?
Long time, man. Long time. I was like, I was there, brother. And one thing made me left there, see, is on the Shabbat, right? I used to go and I opened the Shabbat, me and this other brother, Yosef. And we had a big scroll too, you know. And we did all the ritual with the scroll, you know, and we read from the scroll, see. And one Shabbat.
So this is very interesting, right? A lot of the times the brothers from uptown don't know this part of the history because they only started from a certain point. But Nasi Barak is explaining how Pop Bivens, who came from the commandment keepers, he studied under Rabbi Matthew, right? That he used to also pull out the scroll. If you've seen the initial picture that I showed of Pop Bivens at the beginning of this video, and you could go back and look at it yourself, Pop Bivens has on one of those rabbi caps, and he has on like a robe with almost with the talis, right? So Pop Bivens came from under that school and from under that understanding, right? So he used to bring out the scrolls, and they used to read the Torah out of the scrolls. They were known as the Tanakh school. That school, particular school, was known as the Tanakh school before it was known as the UPK, the ISUPK. That's the school that's left now from that time. But Nasi Barak was there, and now he's explaining what made him leave Pop Bivens, the thing that turned him off to leaving Pop Bivens, and why he left them. And this is going to shock you a bit.
But he called me telling me he's going to a wedding. A Jewish people wedding.
Pop Bivens?
Yeah. It broke my heart, brother. You going to forsake the Shabbat.
He said Pop Bivens called them on the Shabbat and told him that he's going to a Jewish wedding on the Shabbat, right? And he said that broke his heart. And this is what caused him to leave the Tanakh school. What caused him to leave Pop Bivens and those brothers up there. But Nasi Barak is the one that brought the turban style that you see, that those brothers wear. That came from down in Brooklyn first, from Ben Azakin and the brothers who started out Ben Azakin. That didn't originate with what we call the brothers from Uptown or the brothers from 125th Street. This man right here was the one who brought that style of rapping to those brothers up in Harlem. And you could see it because Pop Bivens initially will wear the hats or the caps like how the rabbis would wear, right? So this man was instrumental in bringing the turban rap to the brothers uptown, and they, from there on, they took it and they ran with it. As you see us brothers who come from that Ben Azakin legacy, right, will be wrapping the turban and putting it on our heads, all right?
Excuse me, to go to a Jewish wedding. That's when I said, nah, I ain't going there no more. So, he tried to convince me. I said, no. That's okay, man. You do what you have to do. You older than me. You were like 86 years old then too, you know? I used to protect that man, brother, let me tell you. When I heard that what happened to him in New Jersey, excuse me, I know if I was there, it would never happen.
What happened to Pop Bivens in New Jersey is that he was out in the street proselytizing, as they say. He was out in the street in Newark, New Jersey, believe. He was teaching what he used to do, and a group of 5%ers came and jumped him. And it was alleged that some of the people that were there with him ran and left him, right? I don't know how true that is, but that's an allegation that the students that were there with him talking in the street, they ran and left him. And this is what Nasi Barak is alluding to. And because of that, what he took, and you know, those 5%ers putting their hands on him, they said that this was the cause of his death later on, that this is what caused it. He didn't die right away, but because of the trauma that his body took, being at an advanced age also. But they said he also looked good for his age, so he didn't look quite like his age. I'm not sure if Nasi Barak gave the right age at that time when he met him, but he was older. You know, he was an elder at that time. Nasi Barak met him, and Nasi Barak at that time was relatively young, was a young man. All right. So let's continue.
I used to show them guys no fear. Yeah, man.
So with the interesting thing with the Tanakh school, what they call
Israeli Tanakh school, yeah.
Israeli Tanakh school, that's what it was known back then. I think it's known by a different name, and these are the brothers that go out in the street today in New York City. Were they at that time? How was their indoctrination? Did they believe in a Messiah and a Savior like Jesus? Did they believe in Jesus? Did they go into the New Testament?
Well, Pop Bivens, he taught the New Testament, but he taught it different. Well, he read it all, but he taught it different from the way the Christians do. He taught it real different. And you know, while I was living here, they told me I could get a New Testament in Hebrew at the Bible Society or whatever the name they call it.
Yeah.
And I got one. It's all in Hebrew, you know. And that's why I learned one prayer out of there. Because Pop Bivens always used to end his talk and his teachings with the Lord's Prayer, you know. And I learned it in Hebrew out of that book. And we call it Avinu, you know. So I taught it to them up there, you know. And that's how he used to end his stuff all the time with that prayer. Because that's what he used to do, you know. But he taught it differently. I mean, I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that was in there. But so it wasn't enough for me to argue with him, you know, because I learned in my way of thinking and the schooling that I had, you know, I work as a counselor, I work as a therapist. And they say avoid arguments, avoid retaliations, because it's going to cut you off from the sunlight of the spirit, see? So I don't argue, you know, I just let it go, you know. But I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that he did, but I learned a lot from him. So that's what I can give him credit for, you know.
Do you know the history of the turban, the turban that we commonly use in the suit on, but he had the turban, the style that we use right now. Where did you learn to wrap that turban in?
I learned it from Ben from a brother named Yehuda. He taught me with a little short turban like this. You know, Shaka, the brother Shaka. Little short turban like this. He said, if you were to wrap this, you can wrap it in turban, right? You know, a little short turban, man. Little short turban, and I learned. And then after a while, you know, doing all the striping with different colors, but I just leave it simple, you know, with me, you know, simplicity.
So were you the one who took it to Pop Bivens' place?
Yeah.
The wrapping of the turban?
Right, yeah.
So 125th Street? Okay. Now who else do you recall teaching that? So right there, he tells me that he's the one that took the wrapping of the turban to the brothers at the Israeli Tanakh school. What we know today currently as the ISUPK. That's what it evolved to. So when you see those turbans and that wrap, it comes from this man right here who brought it from Benezaking to the brothers in Harlem. That method of rapping too.
Well, I only taught it to brothers that I thought was ready, you know, because a lot of them was wearing it just to look good, see? And see, they used to come and ask me, could teach me? I said, but you want to wear, but you gonna wear a turban.
How many languages do you know?
I learned the Hebrew, I learned Spanish, English first. Before I learned Spanish, I could speak English. Then I learned Spanish. And the kids taught me Spanish, you know. I was a little kid, I got raised up in the Canal Zone, see. So all the people from the West Indies they spoke English. So then after my grandfather retired, we had to move over to the Panamanian side, see. And I couldn't speak no Spanish. But I learned from the kids. They started teaching me. I learned to speak Spanish fast. Then I learned French. I used to go to a French school on the Siders in Panama. You know, this lady was from Martinique. She was a French teacher. She worked 8 hours to learn French. Because I was supposed to be going to France, you know, on a scholarship. But I ended up in jail because of politics, see? That's what happened, politics, man.
Right.
Yeah. And then from there, my family sent me to New York. First, I ended up in Miami, right? And there was all these light-skinned Cubans there, you know. And I asked them, ain't no black people there? They said, yeah, there's a place in New York called Harlem. You want to see black people, go to Harlem. Well, I got on a plane and I was in Harlem. And that's where it all started. I'm telling you, brother, it was like the Creator was just moving me in the right direction, you know. And then when I got this job working at this hospital on Amram, remember Amram?
Yeah.
Amram is the one that...
He went to BINAH?
Yeah, he was from BINAH, as I from Dover, but BINAH. Yeah. Then I learned Derek Abbott. Derek Abbott is the one that Abba used to teach us. It's called the way of our fathers, you know. So I learned that, but I really thought that.
Derek Abbott, Moshe, he used to teach that.
Yeah, Derek Abbott.
So here, this is the interesting part of what he's saying. Pop Bivens used to teach this style of Hebrew called Derek Abbott. Derek Abbott means the way of our fathers. Derek meaning the way, and Abbott means of our fathers, right? He said that's what Pop Bivens used to teach. That's not what they came up there with, because Nasi Barak is the Hebrew teacher. In fact, he's the teacher who taught the premier Hebrew teacher in our community that just passed away this past year, Morin Mishal, may the Most High God bless his memory. He's the one who taught Morin Mishal Hebrew, and Morin Mishal took it to another level in getting a lot of students and teaching most of us are an extension of that tree that come from Nasi Barak, right? Through Morin Mishal, and then you got people like Kon Mikhail, and you got the Gaveret Bashebas and Gaveret Oraz, and there were other people back then, I'm sure, were more integral in the development of the language, that Ima Keturah, different people that were Hebrew teachers in that time, passed down to people like Moreh Yehotzedek, down to people like Moreh Yivtak, and all different types of people who teach Hebrew. And you got Moreh Yeshaya, who's an excellent Hebrew teacher. So all of these people who teach Hebrew, you got Sister Tehillah, whose parents were taught by Morin Mishael, and in turn they taught her the Hebrew, and she's taking it to another level. Moreh Arania, Ben Cohen Levy, all these people who teach the language and are taking it to another level and teaching it and speaking and doing all these things. So they're all an extension of this man. But he said that Pop Bivens was teaching a form of Hebrew called Derek Abbott, the way of our fathers, right? And now you see the man that's sitting to Nasi Barak's right. His name is Prince Jerubbaal, right? He is Nasi Barak's Hebrew teacher, and he knows like 3 or 4 languages himself. He knows Hebrew, he knows Arabic, he knows Yiddish, English, He knows all these languages. He is Nasi Barak's Hebrew teacher. When Nasi Barak came into BINAH King, this is like in the 60s. When he came to BINAH King, Prince Jerubbaal was there, and he was the Hebrew teacher, right? So this is even prior to Prince Rishadai being at BINAH King, which was 1965, like I said. Prince Rishadai came to Nazik Rishadai came to BINAH King in 1965, and these guys precede Nazik Rishadai by some years, by a couple of years, by a few years. So this is the history, the true history. So Pop Bivens, or Abba Bivens, is teaching a form of Hebrew called Dedek Abot, and we're going to see how Dedek Abot sounds and what we know it as today, what it evolved to.
Yeah, the Hebrew, but it's the way of our fathers, you know, like Dedek Abot. The way of our fathers.
Shalom, how they speak like that.
Yeah, but you know, instead of saying Shalom, they say Shalom.
Shalom.
They say Barakata, you know. And you know, it was you know, Abba told me that he was.
So that's today what they call the Quadash Lashawan. Lashawan. Quadash, holy holy language, I guess it's supposed to say, from Kwadosh. I guess it's holy language that they're trying to say, right? So he's saying that Pop Bivens came up with this, and he's going to explain how he came up with this. Listen to this part of the story very keenly.
Reading the Tanakh one time, you know, and some man appeared in his kitchen in a gray suit. I said, yeah, you sure? He said, yeah, and the man...
Let me bring it back a little so that you could get the whole feeling of what he's saying.
You know, instead of saying Shalom, they say Shalom.
Shalom.
They say Barakata, you know. And, you know, it was You know, Abba told me that he was reading the Tanakh one time, you know, and some man appeared in his kitchen.
He said that Abba Bivens told him one time that he was reading the Tanakh, and some man appeared in his kitchen. Like an apparition or something of a man appeared to him in his kitchen. Now listen to the story. This is where he gets the Dedek Abot or the Quadash Lashawan from. Right? This is where Abba Bivens got it from, why he started teaching it.
In a gray suit.
Man in a gray suit.
He said, yeah, and this man taught him how to read it. And that's why he called it Dedek Abot. But I didn't like it, you know. But I learned it too, but we don't use it, you know, because we use Sephardic, you know, that's the kind of Hebrew we speak. Sephardic. So I learned that, and then I learned Swahili too. Swahili is a mixture of a lot of different languages.
So there you go. That's how the Quadash Lashawan came about. What was formerly known as Dedek Abot. I hope that you guys something out of that history. I hope that it was helpful. You know, I hope that it was helpful. I tried not to. Yes, he's from Panama. He's from Panama. And he's still alive too. So I just wanted to make that available to our viewers. Sometimes we need to get the history. And I'm going to begin to I did so many interviews, but I have to begin to because when you got stuff like this, you almost have to be the gatekeeper, right? So that people don't rewrite history, right? People like rewriting history, but moments like these kind of shut down anything that anybody tries to do in terms of trying to rewrite history to make it fit their narrative. Get what I'm saying? So we got to stop doing that, being revisionists in history, and do exactly what the Most High God told us to do. Anytime. So this is where that whole Kodash LaShawan come from. And what we need to understand about it is that it's not something that we speak, or is it even something? It was something that was started in the 60s. It's not the way that our forefathers spoke. So Todah Yahweh once again for this holy day. And I'm thankful to the Creator of heaven and earth for all things and everything, food, clothing, and shelter. And it's a blessing to be able to teach God's people. And hopefully that I did a good job of teaching God's people and not misleading anyone today. And hope to see you once again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Also, there's going to be a youth Shabbat, but all of you that tune in that are not going to make it, that you be with us at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, as we will continue with the reading of the Torah in the book of Genesis. And hope to see you all there. Shalom, shalom. May the Most High God bless each and every one of you. Hallelujah.